She's a graduate of the University of Florida and received her master's from Florida State. You can't get more Floridian than that. She's been a TV news reporter, a marketing executive, community scholar, and public relations professional. Today, she's the president of the Sarasota African American Cultural Coalition, whose mission it is to bring diverse people together and celebrate African American art, culture, history, and entrepreneurship. And if that's not enough, she's also the co-author of Newtown Alive, Courage, Dignity, Determination. Vickie Oldham, welcome to Suncoast People.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, we've got so much to cover, and I want to kind of start at the beginning. In reading your bio, you said you got your MFA, your Master's of Fine Art, at Florida State.
Yes.
When you were getting that master's degree, did you think that you would be doing what you're doing now?
No, I had no idea that historic preservation would be in the equation at all. I was hoping to make documentaries and movies, but I knew the road would be tough. I was not the type to pack up my little car and drive it to LA and struggle to make movies. So I knew that there would be a transition, but I wasn't really sure how the transition would unfold.
One of the key elements of Suncoast People, as you know, is talking about people climbing their second mountain, that big pivot from one thing to another. Tell me about a pivot that happened in your life.
A pivot, actually a pivot from, say, founder of Newtown Alive to a president and CEO of a different nonprofit that's going to build a $13 million arts, culture, and history center. That is a pivot. I know marketing and I know communications and public relations, but I've never really built a building before or led that. I've marketed a new building, but it's intimidating, that building a new building.
Oh, of course, but isn't one of the keys to surround yourself with people who do know how to do that?
Oh, absolutely. That is a key, and that is what I've done. I realize my limitations. I know what I know what I'm good at, and I know what I don't know. Okay? And so we have a fabulous board, and other than the board members that are have expertise in a number of areas, there are other people who are a part of our team that make me feel very comfortable.
A lot of collaboration going on.
You betcha.
What do you find as a leader is a key to effective collaboration?
I think effective communication.
Yes.
Effective communication in collaborating is certainly a key. Just making sure that everybody's on the same page. And I find myself constantly following up, constantly making phone calls. I was about to say, yes, I email, but emailing is not enough. Sometimes people get these emails and they don't read them. They're buried in a mound of emails. So you've got to pick up the phone and talk with them. And then there are different ages of people on the team too. So older experts, they aren't accustomed to dealing with technology like some others of us.
Right.
So, they're not going to be reading emails all day or whatnot. You've got to call them.
I find there are people whose primary form of communication is texting.
Right.
And don't you think, and this is my belief, but maybe you have a different spin on this, that there is so much lost in translation that lacks from an email or a text versus a phone call.
Oh, I totally agree. And you can't hear tone. You can't read tone. So some things that you may read and it sounds rather curt and direct and something that you don't like, that was not the tone that the person had initially anyway. And so I have read tones wrong. And
No, I think you're absolutely right. The tone of, you can't get the pacing of someone's voice and the tone of their voice from an email, or certainly not a text message. And do you think that maybe makes communicating more difficult or easier these days with all these different options of communicating?
Well, I like the various options. I really, really do. Because you know as well as I do, some people you don't have time to have a long conversation with on the phone. So you just kind of want to send them a text message with the answer to their question, but you don't want to get into a whole lot of other conversation. So I like it all. It's just that we all have to understand the place that, the place, each of the benefits of each is what I'm trying to say.
So you're heading up an organization that has the plan, and you're implementing the plan for a $13 million cultural center. Would
Yes.
that be a fair enough description?
Arts, Culture, and History Center.
And what's it going to kind of look like? What's it going to be comprised of?
Oh, it's going to be so gorgeous. I'm so glad you asked me that question. Well, first of all, we've got amazing architects that are working on this project. Jerry Sparkman, he did a lot of the buildings at Ringling College of Art and Design.
Beautiful
and Jerry,
campus. Beautiful
yes,
campus.
And Jerry turned us on to an architect from Memphis who worked with his dad, Juan Self. And Juan is the architect of the National Civil Rights Museum at the Lorraine Hotel, where Dr. King was assassinated. And so he's worked on that museum from its inception until now. And so we have two rock star architects that are working on this building, but there'll be performance space in there. There'll be space for workshops and classes and demonstrations and did I say performances, concerts, entertainment. We'll have some office space in there too. But this is all about celebrating African American arts and culture. And of course, we've got to deal with history. So we'll have some exhibition space in there, giving artists a chance to display their work.
Are you from Sarasota?
Born and reared.
Goodness. It seems like half the people who've been on this show are native and multi-generational native Sarasotans, or they're from New York.
Oh, okay.
Someone who you know and who I know and has been on the show, Joey Panic, for example, is from upstate New York. Someone who you know and you probably know, Walter Gilbert, is a fourth generation Sarasotan.
Yes, I know Walter Gilbert very well. We are co-conspirators, I should say. No, we share time on the trolley tour, the trolley tours that we have together. So Walter and I fight over the mic.
I can see that.
We have a lot to say. He has a lot to say. And I have to tell him, hey, break off a piece for me. Leave me some time.
He's amazing. And I'm just going to say to the folks at home that we did in season 1 an interview with Walter Gilbert. Look for it online because it's really a powerful and informative interview. And I asked Walter about, quoting John Lewis, about making good trouble. And he said, I'm an agitator.
Ooh, yes. That is his favorite, and he absolutely is. Walter is the one that pushed for Dr. John W. Chenault to be recognized at Sarasota Memorial Hospital's Newtown practice, because there are a lot of new people coming and going in and out of Sarasota. They had no idea who Dr. Chenault was. Well, he was the first African American physician to have practicing privileges at Memorial Hospital. So it is fitting that we not forget him, because he had an office, a medical practice in Newtown, right across the street from where that medical practice is now. And Walter was treated by Dr. Chenault. He's agitating at higher levels.
Well, I said, yeah, you're an agitator, but you're also an advocator. And he seemed to like that.
Yeah.
Because it's a positive spin. But enough about him. This is all about you.
Okay.
And I want to ask you, if you had a crystal ball in front of you, and you could look at Newtown in the years down the road ahead of us, what do you see? What would you like to see in Newtown?
Oh, that's the answer to that is easy. I would love to see our business corridor come back to life with African American owned businesses. Right now we have others who have come into the community to run convenience stores, and I guess they're doing very, very well. But I'd like to see it as it was and as I remember it. Stores, grocery stores, bike shops, restaurants, barbecue joints, taxi cab stands. We had all of that in the Newtown community. I'd love to see that come back. I'd love to see this art center and history museum be thriving, a place where young people can come in there and be empowered and learn about the work that their ancestors did in building Sarasota's infrastructure. And I'd love for them to get an education in there and understand the power of education, because that is what my grandparents pushed in the house where I was raised. Education is the best thing you can get to level the playing field. And so that's what I want to see, more African American students understanding the power of getting not only a high school education, but a college education if they're ready to go to college, or an education in a trade or a skill.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick pause. We're going to be back in about 30 seconds, and I've got some personal questions for Vickie Oldham. We'll be right back. Thank you for watching and supporting Suncoast People. And if you like what we're doing, please make sure to follow and subscribe. If you're feeling generous, consider supporting Suncoast People through patreon.com/Suncoast People. And we're back with Vickie Oldham. And as I promised before the break, a couple of personal questions. And
I'm scared.
Oh, don't be scared. This is easy. Your passion shines through in everything you say. Where does that come from?
I think it comes from my spirituality and the time I spend in the morning in meditation and with a group of women. I pray. I have prayer with a group of women. I can't even believe I'm saying this at 5 a.m. in the morning before we start the day. We started on the good foot, praying for one another that our days will turn out the way that we'd like, that our steps are ordered, and we pray for one another and our families and our friends.
I think that's beautiful. What do you do in your downtime to recharge, to get that energy? And you use your prayer for your energy and also to sort of center yourself for the day and set things right on the right foot. But how do you recharge?
I love walking the Ringling Bridge.
Really?
I do, especially at sunset.
Oh, it's beautiful.
At the golden hour.
Yes.
It is so magnificent. And I know my friends that don't live here are pretty aggravated because I take sunset pictures all the time and I text it.
Oh, torture.
I'm one of those.
Jealous much?
But I do ask them and I do say, now, stop me, but I just want to share something beautiful and something glorious with you. And that's my only motivation. I don't want to, be all in your face, rubbing it in that, we've got beautiful weather and you don't.
Yeah, and they can always come visit. We've got some lovely hotels here in town they can stay at.
Or they can stay at my house.
However you want to do it. I find that having house guests is kind of like, what is the old saying about it? It's like having fish after 3 days. They begin to smell and you toss them out. So I have a 3-day rule in my house.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
well, I have
I'm
no
horrible
rules
about
at
that.
my
I'm also
house.
a very private person.
Oh, okay.
So that's
well,
part of it.
I like having people there and cooking in my kitchen because I don't cook a whole lot. I mean, I call my cooking uninspired.
Okay.
Whatever's in the fridge. But so I love it because they always go to the grocery store and they buy all this interesting stuff, and many of them know how to cook.
What's something that people don't know about you?
That I like baking cakes.
Really?
I love baking.
You love baking?
I do. You know what? I had a talk this morning at 8:30 at the Sarasota Yacht Club, and I knew I was going to do this. And so while I was, thinking about what I was going to say, I had a taste for some oatmeal raisin cookies. And so I just whipped up a batch of cookies.
I didn't see you bring any here.
I'm sorry, I left the batch. You know what? The first batch didn't really turn out all that well.
Well, that happens. Baking is really a science, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, you can't substitute, baking soda for sugar or.
Well, that was the problem. I tried to substitute an ingredient and they came out kind of flat. But those of us who have been baking a while, we know how to add some other things to fix it. And so that is what I did. And the second batter, perfect.
Well, Hagen Brody was on recently and he loves to grill. And I think we should all get together. You can bake something. He can grill up some steaks or some chicken or something, and I'll bring
a good salad.
I can do a pretty good salad. I can do a good salad. Vickie, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And I have to give your book, and I don't normally plug books, but this is I've had a chance not to give a deep read, but I've read a few chapters of this, and it really is a fascinating history of Newtown Alive, courage, dignity, determination. And where can you get this book?
You can get it on our website, newtownalive.org. And also you can book trolley tours on that website. We book group tours, and we have a ball.
Oh, it sounds like fun.
Lots of singing.
So that's newtownalive.org. Fantastic. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. We really rely on your likes and your subscriptions to Suncoast People. If you want to send an email to info@suncoastpeople.com. And in the meantime, I'm Robert Tim. Thanks for watching.